welcome back to my craft frame. This is going to be for the Crafty Hands June challenge, which is one for dads or one for men. Okay, so what I have got the Distress Watercolour Blends 2 from the boys at Crafty Hands. These are great actually, so you don't have to go making your own backgrounds. They're pre-done. They generally manage to match the colours of the Distress inks as well. So they're absolutely brilliant. They're just about 6x6, just under I think. Again, I'm using the Vintage Cars 12 postcards. So this set is handy, especially for men. So let's shift those out the way. And let's start having a look at what I've got here. Okay, so I've taken one of the postcard toppers, and I've actually chopped it. I've chopped around the front of this just ever so slightly because I cut a frame. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the car come out of the frame like that. Okay, so it's driving out. This is one of the old Spellbinders frames, just cut in a textured gold mirror, so it's got a bit of sheen to it. Now it started off with a white background obviously, but the old vintage photo came out to play, so that sort of toned it down a little bit for me. On one of the Spellbinders boxes, you get the big dies that go through the A4 to make boxes. They have these little curlicues as decoration for the sides of the box or top or whatever. And what I've done is I've actually cut it 3 times in the same textured mirror as the frame. I've also used this, which I think is a lovely little flourish or an accent, and I'm going to use this to hang this picture. Okay, I also have somewhere where I can't see it, no, because it's over here, I also have this pre-cut Papermania Capsule Collection brown border. It's already got double-sided on the back of it and it's pre-cut, but it seems to go quite well with what I want here. Now I chose the yellow out of the set because I think the colours, if you can see the yellow on the car and the yellowy colour in the background, are an absolute perfect match. So what I've got to do is I've just got to do a bit of cutting and trimming. Let's grab this. These are approximately 6x6. They're not exactly 6x6. Okay, I think they're just slightly smaller. So I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a border. That knife. And I'm just going to mark it before I cut it, because this is going to be my card front. So that's that one. Between handles and stools, I'm not doing very well today. Right, stick there. Just give myself a tiny little border all the way around it, and there. And this is going to be the front of my card base. So line it. I have a left master eye, not a right master eye, so I actually have to use a guillotine in a funny way because my right eye doesn't line it up properly. I have to use my left. There we go. Okay, so that is my card front. Now I want to make card base, which needs to be exactly the same width or height. Let's mark it that way. So exactly the same height. So this is mark there. Then I'm going to mark a tiny little mark there and another another mark there, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to score and then glue to give myself the bigger card base. And where did I mark it there? That one. Okay, so we can move that out of the way. Bring the Hoogie in. Where's the mark? There it is. Okay, so I just need to line this up and score it. And this is my card back. Now if you've caught any of my other vlogs, you'll know that this is how I make 6x6 from 2 sheets of A4. And as I'm using a whole sheet of the background, that's what I'm going to do again. So there's my card front. Line it up. There's my card base. I am going to glue on the front of the card, because when I put this over the top of it, you are not going to see it. So, Cosmic Shimmer PVA glue dries clear but not glossy, so that's why I use that one as opposed to a PVA or other glues. They tend to dry glossy, which I don't want. I don't want it to be glossy. So now we're not going to see the join when I mount this onto the front. Right. Let's pop that on. Make sure I'm straight. There we go. Okay. So that's that. Next I want to put this border on, okay, which is going to go straight across the front of the card. But like I say, it is double-sided. It's sort of textured. It's got a texture a bit like the Coordinations papers, but it's not a Coordination sandable product. So let's take that off. So there's my border in place. Now it may seem that I'm doing this a little bit backwards, but because in all honesty I found this card actually quite hard to come up with today. I don't know why, my brain just was not working in the right way. So I've spent a long time looking at it, fiddling with it, trying this, trying that, and this is what I've come up with in the end. So I don't know why the creative juices were not flowing this morning. So I'm just going to add some glue to this, and then come here. Thank you. Now I want to pull this reasonably tight, it in place, and I'm going to run this along here. Is that straight there? Which means that one could do going up a bit. And there we go. So that's giving me those bits. So what to do now is chop these off. Just make sure. Yeah, that one. And then I think it's this side here. Yeah, there we go. So that's the border on the card. Now this next piece, I want to glue this image into the frame. Okay, so what I did was I actually distressed it in the frame, so I've got an idea where I'm gluing and where I'm not gluing. Whoa, Nelly. Let's get that off there. There we go. So upside down, get it back out, try to get it in the right way this time. That was a close thing. Ordinarily it wouldn't matter, but the fact of the matter is that I have already punched the hanging holes for the topper, so that's why it was a bit like right. Okay, so that's going to go on there. There is one more piece. There it is. Now this die here is Rob Adams. Okay, he does a lot of lovely family sentiment dies. Okay, now this one is actually the word daddy. I know it's back to front to you at the moment, and what I've done is I've actually cut this out of the border that I've put on the card because I want it on the bottom of this frame. Okay, but I'm not going to use the word daddy, which is why I didn't cut all of it. What I am going to do is use the word dad. I'm just going to tidy up the tail of that D. I've chopped it off. There we go. And this is now going to go on the bottom of the frame. So let's get this into place. There we go. Okay, so that's that one. Now this is going right at the top up there, but it's not going all the way up there just yet. There's a couple of things I need first. I need some nice, deep, small foam pads. This is from, oh grief, come on, Affixit Crafts. These are very small foam pads. They're sort of half the size of the normal ones. Very, very tiny. If you can just see them sort of starting to curl over, they are absolutely minuscule, so they're going to hide nicely behind those there. What I have forgotten to get, and I'm just going to press pause for a minute, is I need some black ribbon. Okay, I'm back. I've just got my black ribbon. So what I want to do now is I just want to thread a couple of pieces through here, through the holes, and with my ribbon scissors, which are attached on a piece of elastic, so that I don't lose them. I always know where they are, and they're always more or less to hand. So that's one, and then one more through there. Oh, there we go, tap. Right, now this is going to be way too long for what I want, but what I want to do is I actually want to mount this first, and then I can figure out how deep I'm going to go. Now those foam pads are a millimetre thick, a couple of millimetres thick, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same depth on the back of this frame, and I haven't got any big ones the same depth as these little ones at the moment. So let's get some of these on. Two there then. Right. Now I've got those on, and I want to get this bit on. So I want to put these foam pads on the back of this very carefully. So 1, 2, and 3. I know you couldn't see much there, but they are so tiddy tiny that my fingers tend to get well in the way of where I'm going. So there's my picture rail, was the word I was looking for, and this needs to be positioned before I even think of putting these over. So let's get everything roughly in the right place, and then I will stick the picture rail down. So that must be there. Okay. let's line this up. And as close to the top as I can, keeping it straight, so it's there. Okay, now this wants to go over and under, so I want some red tape. She says she can't find any, so ordinary tape will do. And I'll find the end. Oh, there's the red tape. Right. Let's cut some pieces of this. What I want to do is I want to put some red tape over here first, just to hold these in place. I could have shortened it off, but I'm really not in the mood for it today. Bit there. Now these need to go under here. I'm just going to slot the ribbon underneath these. I do apologise if my head's getting in the way again. Right, okay. Now let's get some red tape on these. There's method in my madness. Bear with me a minute. Okay, so the red tape is now pointing up. It's not pointing down. Okay, so what I'm going to do is bringing it. Okay. It wants to be about there. And slide you back. Straighten you up. About there. Right, okay. And now I can position that about there. Phew. Got it. There we go. So what I have is I have a card for a dad. Okay, all die cut. The yellows match. And what I've got for the inside, just grab it, is this is what I've got. I've got one of the pre-printed large sentiments that the boys at Crafty Hands do. Now, I don't know if this will pick it up. I've actually foiled this, if I can get it to catch the light, just about there I think, with my foiler. So you can use these and foil them, which is absolutely brilliant. I know some people use laminators instead of foilers, so if you don't have a proper foiling machine like Patsy May or the Mink, some of the cheaper laminators will do the same job. Okay, so that's my sentiment to go in the middle of it, and I just need to put an insert, and that is going to go in there. And I'm thinking more for Father's Day perhaps than anything else with this one. But there you go, there's my card for the June challenge over at Crafty Hands. The challenge is Fathers. Okay, so hopefully you'll pop over and join in. The stuff that I've used in here, apart from obviously the die cuts and the border here, are all available from the boys at Crafty Hands. This is their Distress Textures 2 pack. Okay, that is the vintage cars. Alright, thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, gave you some ideas, and hopefully catch you next time. Thanks, bye.